learning from failure, and this is what this episode is about. And learning from failure is incredibly important to understand in context to business and life, and everything is learning and everything is an opportunity, and it is entirely up to us how we handle that with ourselves and with others. And I'm going to start off with a quote from Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." And of course, 9,999 of those ways could have been classified as a mistake. So when we talk about learning from failure, it is important to reframe what many think, what you may think, failure is, and attached to that, the stigma that comes with it and the limiting beliefs. And the thought that a mistake is a failure can attract both into business and life. So the reframe is that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of it. And please remember, perfection does not exist, and to err is human. Now, I live in the real world, and we do not all think and act the same. And that is 100% right, as it provides balance and it provides us with opportunity. Dealing with mistakes or failures in a hierarchical structure, so taking this directly into a working environment, a business environment, and in reality a life environment, when we're in that hierarchical structure, it can be challenging due to the added layers of authority, expectations and visibility. However, and this is what is part of the reframe, there are effective strategies for navigating this. So Ariana Huffington said, "We need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we will screw up royally sometimes, and understanding that failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of success." So let's have a look at the value of failure. When we fail at something, when we make a mistake with something, it is an absolute 100% opportunity for a learning process to take place. And when we fail, it can provide unique insights that success may not offer. So think about how some of the most innovative ideas stem from past mistakes. I nearly said that. And just one that I can come up with off the top of my head is that post-it notes was a complete mistake. Post-it notes were not what was being designed. It was a design linked to glue being solid and stable and firm, and instead created a glue that could be reused and repositioned. And look at what that complete mistake turned into. A multi-million pound business. So success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And that's a quote from Winston Churchill. So on this episode I have included some quotes. So as a tip, as a leader within business, within life, part of our role, part of our duty is to foster a culture where failure, making mistakes, is seen as an opportunity to learn. It is not seen as a weakness. Now, how we deal with that as a leader, that's a skill set. But it is encouraging people to take the opportunity through fostering a culture of making a mistake. Now, what happens when we make a mistake, and this is key, we take ownership of it and we are accountable for it. So we step up and we own the mistake. We do not put the shift of blame onto somebody or something else, and we do not downplay the issue. Personal responsibility and taking that responsibility builds credibility and trust. It builds credibility and trust with others, which may be our colleagues or the people above us within the hierarchy or those below us in the hierarchy. But it also builds trust with ourselves. So communicate openly, inform people, inform relevant parties as soon as possible, outlining what's happened and the potential impact. Great leaders in life and business self-reflect. Great leaders are self-aware. And self-reflection, being self-aware, allows us, after a failure, after a mistake, to analyse what went wrong and what could be done better. And then we can frame that mistake as an opportunity for improvement rather than a catastrophe. And I've done another episode on catastrophising. If you visit my website, juliehogbin.com, you'll see it on there. So own the issue. Emphasise the importance to others of taking responsibility for failures instead of blaming others or external circumstances. Control what we can control, influence where we can control, or influence where we can influence, and where we have no control, don't go into that cycle. So failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. And that was from Henry Ford. And something else I have seen recently is that once a mistake, twice is a habit. So if we are repeatedly making mistakes, then look at what habit it is that has been created. And remember, when there has been a mistake, that post-mistake analysis with teams, with individuals, can really help to identify the valuable lessons. Focus on solutions, not excuses. Learn from the analysis and then come prepared or be prepared with a plan on how to fix the problem and to avoid it in the future. Which comes back to once is a mistake, twice is a habit. Being proactive shows leadership skills, leadership potential, and problem-solving skills. If you are operating within a hierarchical structure, involving others in the solution can demonstrate respect for authority while also showing initiative. Now, be careful when you do this, because sometimes going up the chain to involve others can come across as being unconfident. So consider that point carefully. Learn and share lessons. And this is vitally important. Self-reflect. Take the time to analyse what led to the mistake, both with you and potentially with others. What processes did you follow? What decisions did you make? What assumptions did you make? And some of those assumptions may be flawed. Self-awareness is critical in growth and is very often, and I will say it, overlooked. Self-awareness of you. If it's appropriate, share your insights. Share lessons learned with your team, with the organisation, to prevent similar mistakes from recurring. And remember, failure is a learning tool. It is not a personal setback. It's a learning tool to advance your success, to advance your career, to advance your business. And if you are in a hierarchical setting, learn to manage upwards effectively. And to do that, you need to understand the expectations. Knowing what the people above you in the hierarchy expect is essential. mistake was due to unclear expectations from those further up in the chain, address this proactively and be transparent. Keep your superiors informed throughout the resolution process, whatever that resolution process is. It will help maintain their confidence in your ability to manage the situation. Stay resilient and stay positive. When we fail, when we make a mistake, and when we continue, because remember, nothing is perfection. Mistakes don't stop. Learning never ends. And when we learn from the experience, it builds our resilience, it builds our perseverance, and it builds our skills. And they are all key traits of strong leaders. And here's a quote from Nelson Mandela. The greatest glory, again, nearly said it, the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Keep going, do not give up. And in a hierarchical structure, what we need to do is accept the consequences. You know, mistakes can carry some visible consequences and some maybe not so visible consequences, but finding out what they are and we accept them, part of personal responsibility. We accept the feedback or repercussions with grace, maintaining professionalism along the way, and focus on long-term development. Use the experience to build resistance. Mistakes are valuable career lessons if approached with the right mindset, with the right mind flow, with the right mind. And building trust. And this is really important. Part of building trust, and there's a lot more work I could talk around with you on this, but is consistency over time. Continuously delivering strong work and showing that you can handle failures maturely. Adding your adult ego, your adult transactional analysis state, which will help you rebuild any lost trust within the hierarchy. Proactively approaching it will be really important in this, taking ownership of it, and be patient. Rebuilding trust after a mistake, if you can rebuild the trust after a mistake, can take time, but consistent effort and improvement are noticed. And here's a quote from me on this one. Trust is fragile. It is hard to earn and easy to lose. And take care when somebody gives it to you. Hold it and treat it gently. It is not a given, it is a gift. And once it is broken, it is very hard to reclaim if you ever can. So turning failure into success, learning from failure. By handling mistakes with accountability, a focus on solutions and resilience, you can turn failure into a stepping stone for growth, even within a rigid hierarchical framework. Failure leads to learning, self-awareness, and resilience, which are all vital for leadership growth when you analyse the mistake and effectively and proactively learn from it. So reframe your mindset around failure and lead by example for your teams and for you. And let's end on a quote from Maya Angelou. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter these defeats so you can know who you are, what you can raise from, and how you can still come out of it. This episode strikes a balance between mindset shifts and actionable tips, with quotes providing thought-provoking moments for reflection. It offers value, I hope it offers value for leaders and managers and individuals by showing how failure can be leveraged for growth and success at any point in your career.